Welcome to Visit Leavenworth's inaugural Talkin Schnitzel podcast. I'm your host, Ann Peavy, and with me today is Troy Campbell, Executive Director of Leavenworth Chamber.
Hello, Ann.
Hey,
Here
Troy.
we are.
Let's talk a little bit about ourselves. I'm a born and raised girl here in Leavenworth, moved away, moved back. I've spent decades in hospitality and tourism, and I am the biggest cheerleader you'll find in this town of Leavenworth.
Yes, and weren't you, didn't you have an alter ego one time, the Seattle Maven?
Once upon a time, and now I'm a Leavenworth Maven. I did have a stint with Visit Seattle for more than a decade, and that personality became sort of the poster girl of Seattle when I was at Visit Seattle.
Well, I know people in the tourism industry that credit you for teaching them how to use Twitter back in the day. I was a Twitter. And how to use Twitter to talk about your destination.
Yeah, to market a destination. We were one of the first DMOs doing that, and it was a blast to be right at the inception of it.
Yeah, and here we are doing podcasts.
Yay! So, how about you, Troy?
Well, I am born and raised Washington State, Spokane to be exact, is where I was born. Grew up outside of Spokane, and I've been in the tourism industry pretty much my whole life. I've been a travel agent. I've been a park ranger at Mount Rainier. I've worked on cruise ships. Did a stint for a while with the Victoria Clipper. Spent some time also in California, in San Francisco, as executive director of the Fisherman's Wharf area, which is the area from Pier 39 to Ghirardelli Square. But back in 2020, I decided I want to come back to my home state and move back, and have been here in Leavenworth since 2020, and I couldn't be happier.
Woo! Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about this new podcast, Talkin Schnitzel.
I mean, coming up with the topics was one of the easiest tasks ever because
there's so much to talk about here.
So much to talk about, yeah. So many topics. We're looking to do 2 a month. We've got the Bavarian transformation of Leavenworth, family adventures in every seasons, the artist behind the mural, Leavenworth FAQ, and then, of course, what we're going to be talking about today,
Oktoberfest 2026.
Yes. We have tickets are going to be going on sale very soon, July 1st.
July 1st.
And we're going to be kicking off this first podcast talking about Oktoberfest.
Before we dive into what's going to be going on here in town for Oktoberfest 2026, let's talk about the history of Oktoberfest back in Munich, in Germany.
Yeah. The Oktoberfest in Munich started in 1810 by Crown Prince Ludwig. At the time, and it was a wedding party that they threw.
With the whole town involved,
The whole
right?
town was invited, so he made a big party out of it. Whole town was invited. There was horse races, great thing. And then people had such a great time, it just kept going. And then fast forward a couple decades, beer tents start getting added, but very exclusive. One of the things to know about Munich's Oktoberfest is it only allows the 6 main breweries in Munich that have been literally around all these 200 plus years, right? And some of them we have Polliner, one of the Oktoberfest brews, is at our Oktoberfest. That's how it got its origin. Of course, then it got bigger and bigger. It's one of Munich's biggest festivals, but ours being a much different scale is a bit different. Yeah,
definitely a different scale. And it's funny because I think officially we say that Oktoberfest here in town started in 1998, right about then. But I can remember pretty clearly back in the late 70s as a teenager walking down on the west side of Front Street across from Gustav's, right next to the Hotel Tyrol, and hearing something kind of going on down in that grassy area above the river, and kind of peeking down through the fence and seeing all the guys sitting at the big long tables, clinking their steins and listening to the Weschelbergers playing their accordions. That, to me, in my heart, is the OG Oktoberfest for Leavenworth. But the reality of it is probably slightly different. I don't think anyone else was there next to me seeing all that. But in 1998, sure enough, here comes this big celebration, much like what was happening in Munich, right here in our little town. And it really picked up. It's funny because when the original townspeople were building this Bavarian village, they very specifically didn't want an Oktoberfest here. They wanted to keep it, I guess I'd say, wholesome. They had the Autumn Leaf Festival and Christmas lighting instead, just very community-based, not a lot of beer involved in that. So by 1998 was when it really became closer to what we see today. Now, through that evolution in the early 2000s, there was the Woody Goomspa age, where it went from old men and clinking of steins to a little racier, a lot more beer, a lot of frat bros.
A bit more Sweet Caroline.
A lot of Sweet Caroline. For sure.
Yeah.
My point is there's been such an incredible evolution in our town.
Yeah.
Things got pretty boisterous. Just before COVID, there was a lot of talk in town every weekend after Oktoberfest had happened, and people weren't thrilled with what they were seeing in their neighborhoods, not even close to where the beer halls were, quite honestly. So COVID was a perfect reset for this little town when it comes to Oktoberfest, because what's become of it since then has been, to me, just a quintessentially perfect Oktoberfest for our town. And maybe you can tell me a little bit more about how those changes have come about and what people will see that is different and feels different and even looks different here.
Yeah, I like that term COVID reset, because that did allow us to really step back, because we didn't throw an Oktoberfest in Leavenworth for a couple of years. So it gave us that chance to kind of step back and look at the event, hear the complaints, and at the time there was quite a few, because the event had become so successful, and there were so many people coming that it was really stuffing 5 pounds of potatoes in a 1 pound bag kind of analogy thing, where it was
how many can you pack in?
The crowds were getting big, the buses, the amount of people, and so what we were able to do is take a look at the event, and that is in 2022 when the chamber took it over. And started throwing the Oktoberfest, really looked at right-sizing it for town. And that did everything from the amount of people we sell tickets to the footprint of the event, to our last call and not closing at 2 a.m. When everything in town is closed, but rather at midnight, works a lot better. So a lot of these little improvements have made it a much more enjoyable event for both the residents and I think the visitors as well.
And you could really tell, because since COVID, since the new Oktoberfest, when the chamber took it over, you just don't hear that after the weekend, people grumbling about all the things that were going on in their neighborhoods. So
a lot
it's
less
right-sized.
And a lot less calls to Rivercom for problems and issues. So it's been a very successful makeover, and we keep fine-tuning it every year. We always, we can't stop ourselves, because we're like, and the really interesting thing about it is I've thrown events before with other organizations and things, but you work really hard and it's one weekend, and we have 3 weekends. So you can kind of like, okay, something didn't work the first weekend, you kind of change it up the second weekend and fine tune it. And then, you get to really craft your event and really make it as good as it can be.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about that. What's the experience like now? What can someone expect? Maybe even do a compare and contrast of what that's like in Munich, and what pieces of that you're going to see here in town.
Yeah, well, it is all about taking the fun bits of the Munich Oktoberfest, taking the fun bits and bringing it here. And what really draws people is the beer, and of course the music and the dancing and the fun.
So it's got the dancing, it's got the polkas, it's got accordion music.
So taking all those fun bits, the music, the dancing, the games, one of the most popular activities is the Stein holding competition.
Oh, tell me more about that. I've seen it, but I don't really know all the rules for that. Yeah,
it is. There actually is a Stein holding competition, like national group.
Like guidelines.
Guidelines. So there's official guidelines, yes, that you have to follow. And it's holding the, roughly off the top of my head, it's, you have to hold the stein out. You have to lock your elbow. You can't be bending it. You can't put your pinky out. You can't put your thumb up on top. It has to be inside. You have to keep your arm horizontal with the ground. That doesn't seem so hard, and it's always really fun, because especially in the men's competition, they look so sure in that first minute. They look so confident.
I've got this.
Yeah, I got this. And then the wiggle arm starts.
The shakes.
And
the full body shakes is what I saw.
But it's amazing, because it's never who you think is going to win. That for some reason is able to do it. But this is serious business for some people, and we've had people that have come to us that actually travel around the country and do these. Some people are there just because they signed up because they have a buzz and they think it sounds like a great idea. And other people are seriously there to compete and clock their times.
I feel like some people had their friends sign them up too. I remember last year someone being kind of drug out.
Yes.
But they did great.
Well, we always like to pick those people because you know that they're going to have a built-in cheering section. So yeah, they always get fun. But yeah, it's always fun picking that person that is looking reluctant.
So that's one of the traditions that's carried over specifically from Germany, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Some of the other things. In Munich, they have that huge carousel.
Yeah, we bring in a carousel to give a nod to the much larger one in Munich. I have our producer is flashing me a note. We have a Ferris wheel, but no carousel. Did I say carousel earlier?
You said carousel.
I said carousel.
Oh, shame on us. No carousel, but a Ferris wheel. We have a whole tent set aside for kids. There's some free activities in there, some face painting, some crafts. We have a little root beer garden for the kids in there as well.
You've got your Oktoberfest ambassadors in there as well, right?
Yeah, so it's all staffed by our Oktoberfest ambassadors, which are nonprofits that sign up to volunteer and take care of the kids and keep the games going.
Making sure everyone's having a great time.
Yeah.
How about the food?
One thing when you're here at Oktoberfest, you're not going to know, if it wasn't for the cyclone fencing, you wouldn't really know where the event stops and town starts.
And that's one of the things I love so much about the new Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Just it's incorporated town into the celebration in a way that never happened before. You've got a tent right next to the gazebo.
Yep.
Along with one right across from the fest hall.
Yeah.
And these aren't a typical tent. The first time I saw them, my expectation was a tent feeling all enclosed. And instead, these are tents with clear roofs so that you can see the carousel and the lights at night when you're there. You can look up and see the trees and the stars at night. Thing up above, it's beautiful. And it's a place where people can really get into celebration because it just feels so natural and an easy place to have a big party.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, that was very specific, choosing those clear tents. So shout out to Alexander Party Rentals in Seattle. Thank you for that. Those clear top tents are amazing because you don't want to go into a dreary, dark tent on a beautiful fall, autumn day in Leavenworth.
In this gorgeous town.
No. So yeah, the clear top tents are amazing. So that really helps. We have that one at the park and one in the parking lot adjacent to the fest hall. So we have 3 stages. And I think that is one of the things that we made the big change when we took over Oktoberfest was being able to add the beer garden at Front Street Park and being able to add the tent there because then that kind of incorporates all the activities and things. And a lot of people can witness what's going on. They can hear the music, they can see, but they're just in town, so they don't have to pay to go inside the fenced area. Can still be a part of the celebration. And then we do all the stein holding competition, and the competitions are on the steps of the gazebo, so everybody can see that. So everybody can kind of experience it. But like I said, there's patio seating, outdoor seating, and so many food options.
Yeah, we were talking about food and what there is right at the fest hall.
Yeah, there's
absolutely.
If you don't want to leave the Oktoberfest grounds up at the fest hall, we have about 5 to 6 food vendors up there. Everything from pretzels, like I said, brats, Leberkassen, burgers, and you can get food at the event as well.
We talked about music. Mm-hmm. We talked a little bit about sort of the things that we're doing that are mirroring what's happening in Munich. What about alp horns? What about accordions? What about, those things that are so traditional? Mm-hmm. Where are you going to see those while you're here?
Good question. That kind of brings us back to these stages I was talking about. We have the Front Street Park, we have the Bierzell tent, and we have the Fest Hall main stage. Now, down at the park is where you're going to get more of the traditional Bavarian Oktoberfest type music, more of your accordions, more of the Oompa music. So those that are really looking for that experience, the park is for you. The main stage is a variety show, if you will, kind of different things that happen throughout the day. Everything from the Enzian Schulplatter dancers.
Oh, they're a kick.
Yeah, we have.
Literally.
We have the Tyrolean dancers out of Oregon come many years. So there's all kinds of dancing that happens there, plus music. We have the Bierzell tent, which is the tent outside by the Ferris wheel, and that one is typically a bit more of our cover bands. the Sweet Caroline.
The Sweet Caroline.
99 Love Balloons. You're going to hear those more out in that tent. That's a little bit more of the party tent a bit. So those are 3 different opportunities, and those are all running simultaneously. So there's always a stage.
So you could literally move from one to another. When you've had enough rounds of Sweet Caroline, it's time to go back over.
Yeah, maybe you want a little more accordion music now. So yeah, you can make that switch and go between the different sections. So you can go from the fest hall down to the park and back.
Gotcha.
We'll point out the park though is 21 and over only.
Got it.
The Front Street Park, but the other area of Oktoberfest, the big area, is all ages.
Until 9 o'clock at night?
Until 9 o'clock, and then minors have to be out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about these musicians. Who can we expect to hear this year? It sounds like you've got one heck of a lineup.
We do. We have some really cool. First off, we've been practicing this. Really good.
And let's talk about this. Is the part of the podcast that
Usha's Dritten.
Yes.
Did I say?
I think you
close.
did. From Switzerland.
The people that speak German listening are horrified right now. But yeah, Usha's Dritten.
This is a family group, right?
Swiss family group. They've been performing for over 25 years now, I believe.
And this is a mix of blues, of folk, a little bit of country, and something they call Schlagen.
Schlagen. Now, I don't know Schlagen, but I know Schlager.
Schlager.
As in Goldschlager. Yes, and, that's kind of triggering flashbacks from overdoing it in college. But... yeah,
slightly different. Schlagen.
What is Schlagen?
It's more heartfelt tributes, but in sort of a pop style. So it's nothing I've ever heard before, and I'm really excited to see it this year.
So like Schlagen, so pop like family from the heart.
Family from the heart, sort of more meaningful, more sort of heart-driven, let's just say.
And this band, although our listeners may have never heard of them. Over, 65 million people on YouTube know who they are?
Yeah.
That's how many streams they've had. So they are known. And they are also kind of known for setting new standards in yodeling. So the lead singer, Melanie, is a master yodeler. So this is going to be an amazing
That'll be fun.
set. Yeah.
It ties in nicely to another yodeler that we have coming back again this year.
Yeah, and I will point out that they will be here the first weekend only, the first weekend, and that is the 2nd and 3rd of October. And who else were we talking? Michael Stossel. Yes, our classic yodel playing polka Oktoberfest music. He's a one-man band, and it was really fun the first year he... was really worried about playing like traditional music, thinking you need to like step it up and maybe play more contemporary stuff.
Make it more Leavenworth.
Right. Or just, we keep hitting on poor Sweet Caroline today, but, just more of that,
right.
Maybe a little bit more of that. But no, everyone loved what he was doing.
It's so traditional.
And it's like everybody was eating it up. And I think he was a little surprised maybe that our crowd was really wanting his traditional music.
Every time I hear about yodelers coming in and performing, especially at Oktoberfest, I think somewhere down the road, I want to see a yodeling tutorial followed by a yodeling contest.
Yeah. Oh, we should.
Wouldn't that be a blast?
That's a good idea. Yodeling contest.
Because nothing could be more embarrassing than trying to make those yodeling sounds in front of a crowd of people.
Yes. Maybe a yodeling while trying to skip contest. That might be fun.
Step it up a little bit.
We have the Freddie Feister Band.
Oh, they are so much fun.
Yes,
you talk about energy levels. When you come down to polka bands with that much pep, you can't help but just get in the groove, get dancing, get out with your friends. That's probably the most traditional we're going to find as far as just rowdy beer hall sounds.
Yeah, they're kind of the kings of Upa music.
The kings of Upa.
And yeah, you can actually, most of these, including them, you can find on Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube. So if you want to check these out, you can pull them up online and check them out before you come in. Because some of these bands are not playing every weekend, so you kind of have to pick and choose what weekend you want to experience. Do a little research on these bands and make sure you're picking the right weekend for the ones that you want. I know a lot of people definitely want to be here, and I'm going to have to look at my notes to see which weekend. But our good friend Manuela Horn.
Oh, man. Talk about energy. This gal brings it tenfold. She's got her backup singers there with her. There is nothing to compare her to. I know she also calls herself the Oktoberfest queen, and she is exactly that because she's very tall. She's incredibly outgoing, but she's so talented.
Very
talented. Super diverse.
I think what is so fun about Manuela is that she's just a really charismatic entertainer.
Yeah.
But she's queen of Oktoberfest for sure. And her set is very fun because it's songs that we all know, like Jump by Van Halen, but instead of Jump, she's singing Prost.
Yeah, she's got her spin.
She has her spin on. She's very interactive with the crowd. She's a fan favorite. And a lot of locals, too, love having Manuela back. And she's always overwhelmed. It's fun talking to her on her visit because she's just kind of overwhelmed. So many people come up to her when she's walking around and just
I bet they do.
Yeah, and just gush on her. It's
very identifiable as well.
Very much so, yeah.
Well, it is going to be one heck of an Oktoberfest in 2026. Considering this is our inaugural podcast, it's also our first podcast, of course, that has a part 2. So I think we've kind of wrapped up the standards of what to expect, the history of Oktoberfest, but stay tuned for part 2, talking a little bit more the nuts and bolts of what Oktoberfest is in Leavenworth.
Yes, we got a part 2 coming up. We have tickets going on sale July 1st, and just have to remind everybody that please subscribe, like this. You can find this podcast anywhere you find your podcast, and a video version on YouTube,
along with on leavenworth.org.
Absolutely. All right,
thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks everybody.